Pete and Pete Halloweeny. That's what the special is called. Obviously, younger Pete and older Pete go trick-or-treating to try to break a record and try to crack down, I guess, a bunch of vandals or whatever. Yeah, it's worthwhile, and especially if you're a 90s Knicks fan. Once again, I know I sound like a broken record on this one, but I don't know why. I'm hoping soon they show Pete and Pete. This was the only show I don't recall them ever premiering on the Splat or when they brought back 90s Nick. I don't know what's the holdup here, Nickelodeon. Come on. You brought back Salute Your Shorts and all the other classics. I'm still waiting for this one. In fact, you could probably watch it on YouTube from some uploader or whatever, but bottom line, it's worth it. SpongeBob Scaredy Pants. Yeah, the very first Halloween special. Not to be confused with all the Ghost Story ones or the ones about the Flying Dutchman or anything like that, or the Graveyard Shift episode with the hash-slinging slasher or whatever the hell it's called. No, specifically, this was the one about Halloween. Obviously, they're trying to go out and get people to get scared. SpongeBob gets scared by everyone, and he dresses as the Flying Dutchman, and, well, he scares him, of course. Not to spoil anything too heavy, even though I pretty much spoiled it right there, but I'm sure anybody can agree it's worth watching. If you're a diehard Nickelodeon fan, that's probably the last good of Nickelodeon that you'll ever see out of this show, even though it's still on the air. And honestly, I agree, it really should end already, because it's just gotten bad. And the number one best Halloween special, this is just my opinion, people, and this is a pretty rare occasion, but the number one best Halloween special, or specials, plural, The Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. Yeah, which one may you ask? Well, like I said, this is a pretty rare occasion, but I'm going to go with every single one of them. Why? Because they're all amusing, they're all gory, they're all making fun of something, and, well, if you saw my text review of, list of what I think the best Simpsons episodes are, you probably saw that my favorite one is the one that pokes fun at The Shining, but that's not the point. My point is, I'd say watch every single one of them. Highly suggest, especially if you're a diehard Simpsons fan like I am. And, well, obviously if you know the background story with these specials, they're pretty obscure in their own world. And obviously they started out in Season 2, not Season 1. So, and ever since then, there's always been one in every season, and there's usually always 3 parts to it. And it's funny, though, how they started out, which makes sense that the first one that's on Season 2 is all these tales are told from, the ghost stories when the Simpson kids are inside the treehouse and Homer Simpson is kind of eavesdropping and overhearing them, and he gets frightened by it and says, "Oh, I hate Halloween." And that makes sense because they call it Treehouse of Horror. They're telling them inside the family treehouse. And the second part, Treehouse of Horror number 2, obviously they're all from their dreams. Bad dreams, nightmares when they eat too much candy on Halloween night. And then the third part, which is on Season 4, is all told from ghost stories once again at the Halloween party. And then the next one, which is on Season 5, I believe, is all told, well, not really told as much, but when they're walking through like a weird museum with weird paintings and stuff. And yeah, they all make fun of something, which is great. You got the first part on Season 2, like I said, told by ghost stories, with the aliens. Yes, of course, every Treehouse of Horror episode, just about, you see these aliens, Krang and Kodos. So that's one of the main icons of these Treehouse of Horror specials, as well as making fun of something like I just said, getting back to that. Makes fun of Amityville Horror. You got the one with Poltergeist, with Homer going into like the third dimension, even though they never show it in the movie for sure. And he mentions it's sort of like based off Twilight Zone, which is pretty much where the idea is from. Speaking of Twilight Zone, you got the one that makes fun of that, where Bart's the insane kid that turns Homer into a Jack-in-the-Box. I can't really do these specials much justice. Just watch them for yourself. But the weird thing is, they start out as ghost stories told from the Simpsons kids, like I just said, and bad dreams and so forth, and then they just become episodes of their own. They're not told from stories or bad dreams or whatever. They're just episodes. But like I said, they're in their own world. They're obscure. They're funny. It can be a little disturbing, but you gotta have the right sense of humor to really enjoy them, and I think they're very amusing for the most part. Even the intros can be really funny. Like how the Simpsons characters, mainly Marge, being that she's like all against the violence and everything, she tells like, "Oh, this may be too scary for your kids, so you may want to tuck them in early." And then the next year, same thing, and she's like, "I warned you last year, so this is going to be even scarier this year, but you're not going to listen." And then you got Homer doing it another season, and then, and then there's, I think the funniest intro, in my opinion, is the one where a TV news person is trying to censor it, and he's like crossing off all the violent stuff, playing like no, no, and then he's like, oh, okay, this episode is rated TVG. You have nothing to worry about. It's not scary. And then a hand with a sword comes out of nowhere and just starts stabbing him, and then it brings the rating up every time it stabs him to the most violent rating, I guess, because it's violent. I found that one really amusing. There's another one in the later seasons with the aliens, because of course, baseball is still going on usually with the postseason, World Series, and then they're like saying, the aliens are like, oh, when can we get this show on the road? This baseball game's taking forever. Let's speed it up. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's all... Trust me, like I said, watch these all. They are hilarious. That's why I included every single Treehouse of Horror special. And they're still coming because the show is still on the air. I mean, yeah, they poke fun at stuff even though they're their own thing. They're not told by ghost stories, like I said. Like, you got ones with Harry Potter. You got, like I said, The Shining one. You got King Kong, or King Homer, I should say. Even the newest one that a lot of people made a fuss about was the one that Sideshow Bob finally fulfills his dream and kills Bart Simpson, even though it's not for real because it's Treehouse of Horror special and he keeps bringing him back to life. I mean, there's tons of these. They're all funny. Some may complain that the earlier seasons are better than the later seasons, and some think that the show went downhill. I'm pretty mixed on that idea, and I think they still hold together pretty well, so can't do much justice, just watch them for yourselves. One thing that sucks, though, is that even though they released, every season on DVD and Blu-ray, now they stopped. What the hell? Seriously, Fox? I understand that many people are buying DVDs, more people are into digital downloads and stuff like that, but why stop? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Finish what you started, Fox. You jumped to season 20 after season 15 or 16, and then all of a sudden you just give up completely? Talk about ridiculous. Yes, there's also the, Treehouse of Horror specifically made specials on one DVD or 2 or 3 of them, whatever. And so, but I really wish they would have finished this whole box set. Catch up to the whole show, because after all, it's made it over 25 seasons, and it's the longest running TV show, animated sitcom in television history. So, until next time, that's my list right there. Please comment and do whatever you want, but please, like I said, refrain from negative comments and so forth. Till next time, happy Halloween.